Trump is nothing if not unpredictable. Obviously gets along very well with Narendra Modi, regardless of the change of administration. Regardless of that, the more or less the only way out that I see that's plausible is a grubby little deal. It won't change very much from what the previous administration, still the current administration in Washington, would have arrived at. Obviously, it's not. It's up to Trump. But I think the outlines of a deal are pretty clear to me. It's very important that some such outcome does come to pass rather than public trials, grand speeches. Any government that follows Trudeau's government in Canada, any government that follows the Biden administration in the United States will seek such an accommodation with the Modi government in India.
Let's talk about, going forward. There is going to be a change in administration. You've heard Donald Trump, and his rhetoric when it comes to this issue. How do you see this play out with this new administration starting January 20th?
Well, that's an interesting question, isn't it? Because Trump is nothing if not unpredictable. Obviously gets along very well with Narendra Modi, and Modi has been very assiduous in peppering the incoming administration with praise, and looking forward to working with his friend Donald Trump. So I expect that they will work together closely, and I expect that regardless of the change of administration, regardless of that the more or less the only way out that I see that's plausible is a grubby little deal. I think it won't change very much from what the previous administration, still the current administration in Washington, would have arrived at if it were to stay in office. Obviously, it's not. It's up to Trump. But I think the outlines of a deal are pretty clear to me. That deal would involve concessions off camera by all sides. And by all, I mean all three governments, India, the United States, and Canada. And as part of that deal, India would get what it wants. Namely, that this would be as much as possible swept under the rug, and we'll tell the Indian public, and we're confident in the compliance of the Indian media, all of which, by the way, parroted the official line that Canada had censored this website in Australia for some reason. All of them incorrect. I think that India would, in this deal that I imagine, get what it wants in terms of sweeping this mostly under the rug, telling the public that, okay, we're through this, we've scored another great triumph, and there's no humiliation of India, there's no public trial. And what's going to happen is that administratively, quietly, and off camera, as I say, without public announcement, we will hold somebody to account. That we've found somebody, a sacrificial lamb that we can throw under the bus to take responsibility. I'm terribly sorry. It was me. I won't do it again. And we'll say tut, tut, tut. And there will be something that looks like a trial. And then a couple of years down the road, somebody will be quietly released from prison and given a gold watch for his retirement. The Americans would get what they want in that they would preserve the important strategic relationship between the United States and India, which is of surpassing importance in this whole affair. I mean, all the rest of this doesn't matter compared to the importance of keeping India, if not in the Western tent, at least as part of our team in the confrontation with China. And Canada would get what it wants in in the sense that it will have exposed in that the plot was real, that a Canadian citizen, no Canadian citizen is fair game for a foreign country to come here and murder them because they think they're bad people. I don't dispute that, by the way, that Hardeep Singh Nijjar might have been a bad person, maybe even a very bad person, but I don't know that. I haven't seen the evidence, and the evidence that I have seen isn't very good. I don't believe, and I don't think most Canadians do believe, in extrajudicial executions by foreign countries of Canadian citizens without the benefit of a trial. These ideas are just outrageous to Canadians and to Americans too. Anyway, in such a deal, to essentially sweep it under the rug with minimum concessions and minimum public humiliation for all three governments, I think this is the most likely, albeit messy, outcome. But it's very important that some such outcome does come to pass, rather than public trials, grand speeches. I think that it's too important to preserve the relationships of long-standing between the three countries. And it's important enough that I think any government that follows Trudeau's government in Canada, any government that follows the Biden administration in the United States, will seek such an accommodation with the Modi government in India.